Bring, bring, bring. Uh, hello. Are you calling me? Have you missed me? How are you? Okay. Hi, guys. And good afternoon, creeps. A long time no see, creeps and guys. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to say hello. And I just wanted to say something about being unpredictable. You know, when you are and if let's say for example you live somewhere for a long time and you know exactly how things are, you know the people around you, you've been around them for years, you pretty much can guess how they react to things and how they do things. But I'm making so many changes in my life, and honestly my life is very, very unpredictable. When you're making changes, things can be unpredictable. And when they're unpredictable, sometimes they get a little scary because you don't know what to expect and you don't know what's going on because it's a different, everything is, not what you're accustomed to. So yeah, just when if you're going through changes and unpredictable times, always keep your head up. One day it's gonna settle down. You just have to be calm. Keep your positive mindset. Keep your positive mindset, and always think positive. I'm learning how to do that. And honestly, it's easy. It's harder. It's what is it? It's easier said than done, but it really does work. Really does work. If you are negative, you're only gonna hurt yourself. Whatever you do, when you're going through the changes, keep your thoughts in a positive direction, and don't forget that. Okay? Don't forget that because so many times, um, I've had some really um, difficult situations. And believe it or not, it's like it just all falls into place. It all kind of falls into place. So what I do is that I try to remain calm, don't get upset, just let it settle, and it's gonna fall into place. It's gonna be like a jigsaw puzzle, just pieces falling and getting into it. And then once the full puzzle is is laid out, then you're gonna get that calm. So it's no use if it looks if even if it looks like it's so difficult, you need to stay calm and stay positive. You have to. You have to make sure you do that. Cause don't ever and another thing, don't ever worry about money. Don't ever worry about it, cause you never know. The money will come to you when you need it in all types of surprising ways. At least for me, that's how it's been for years. The money comes in all different surprising ways. It's not always the lottery. I get money from all different surprising ways. I mean, I really do. So, just be calm and just keep your head up and don't let anything get you down because life is very interesting. Life is very exciting, and life is a very big learning experience too. I'll tell you something. I'll give you an example of a learning experience. And next, I'll do that tomorrow. It's a different video about learning experiences. Learning, you have to learn, okay? You have to learn. You really do, okay? Learning, when you grow older, you learn, okay? So I used to be so like caught up in my age, and I used to be like scared to let people know how old I was. And but I'm 46 years old, and I'm very proud. I can finally say that because I for so many years I never let nobody know my age because I was always like wanting to always be forever 21. But then I said I would never want to be, excuse me, as far as me right now, I don't want to go back to 21. Because at 21, when I think about how much I knew at 21, I didn't know shit about life at 21. So therefore, when I think about 21, I'm like, God damn, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about this. I didn't know. Now, okay, when you get older, you get wiser. So I think it's a very beautiful thing to be older. It took me a long time. It took me 46 years to learn that. To never be afraid to reveal your age, because now I'm so proud that I am 46 years old and I have so much that I can share to a younger person who might be going through some strange events. I have so much wisdom. I have so much intelligence based off of living a hard life. I've lived a very hard life. My life has been extremely difficult. I've lived, I've lived in disaster cities like Detroit. I mean, disaster. I'm talking blown up buildings, burnt up cars, dead rats everywhere. I mean, broken bottles, broken glass, trash everywhere. I mean, those were horrible. That was probably just growing up in that environment. That was hard. Okay, that was a hard childhood. That was a hard childhood. It wasn't. That was horrible, horrible. Okay, and then I've survived so many different other tragedies. I mean, I was in Hurricane Katrina. I was in Hurricane Wilma. Almost drowned in Hurricane Wilma. My roof came off. My cottage flooded. I was in Dania Beach, living near the beach, and I was flooded out. I had a total loss. Everything was destroyed. Even my vehicle, everything was destroyed. And I've lived through hurricanes. I mean, being through those devastating hurricanes. Katrina. Think about Hurricane Katrina. I mean, I was in Hurricane Katrina and Wilma. Those were horrible storms. I had lived through that and didn't drown. I was underwater for about maybe 8 hours. Cold. That water was ice cold. The water pouring on top of my head for hours. In a flooded cottage. With water all over my head. But I survived. I didn't drown. You know how hard that was to be in that storm? That was a horrible storm. Okay? That was real life. That stuff that you see on TV where people were climbing on top of buildings and people drowning and dead bodies floating everywhere. That was real. Dead bodies floating all over the place. Dead dogs and cats and blown busted out windows and smashed cars, and I mean it was horrible. Very horrible. Yeah, believe me, after that happened, I was crying a lot because I became homeless. There was no place. Everything was demolished. Everybody, half of the people, most of the people were homeless, and there was no stores. There was no street lights. There was no cars. There was no gas stations. Everything was closed for days before help came. And some people had water, and they were sharing it with each other, and there was no electricity. It was just a disaster. If you ever been through a horrible disaster like that, That was disaster. Okay? Horrible, horrible, horrible. So yeah, that's why to this day I don't live in Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Palm Beach or Tampa. I don't live in those areas because those are where hurricanes can hit you, and then you know you then you'll be without. So anyway, that was a devastating event. Then I had all this other. I could go on and on. Yeah, I could go on. But when I think about that hurricane and how I was crying, because see, when the FEMA put the people from Louisiana, when I got my FEMA payout, it wasn't nothing but $10,000. But the people who were first they put all the people from Louisiana first. So Louisiana was, they were getting their FEMA trailers and they were getting their money first. And then the Florida, we had to wait. We were last. So I was homeless for a year, literally homeless for a year. I was until finally they finally got the FEMA payments. When I finally got my FEMA payment, then I was able to get a place to stay, and and then after that it was fine. Everybody got their payments, but I moved to this part of Florida. I moved to this part of Florida where it was a bunch of Louisiana people. So it was a bunch of people from where I had came from. I was from Broward County. And then when we got up there, it was a lot of Broward County people and Miami-Dade people. We all went to a certain part of Florida where they were giving out the payments and getting people into apartments and homes and FEMA trailers and stuff like that. So what happened was it was these Louisiana people, and they were calling themselves the Cajun Cobras. These Cajun Cobras, they had got all these. They got housing before us. We were Floridians, and the Louisiana Cajun Cobras, they had got all types of money. They gave the Floridians $10,000. They gave those Cajun Cobras about $25,000 a piece, and they gave them FEMA trailers. They gave them so much stuff. We had to wait behind them. We had to watch. And then what they were doing, they bought gold teeth. They got gold chains. They were drenched in gold. Every time they were getting like weekly payments, and they had got a lump sum payment, and they got housing. All these people from Louisiana. So that because they were sending people from Louisiana all over the place. And Florida got a bunch of these Louisiana people. Louisiana people, all of them would be bragging. They were from New Orleans. They were from where? Oh goodness. Well, let me stop. I'm just thinking about how they look. They look. You should have seen what they look like. Those, let me, honestly, let me stop this. We don't need to go over. I just, the only reason why I told you about this is because I'm going through a hard time. And honestly, when I look back at that, when I look back at that, you don't know. I used to cry daily. I would be sitting there crying, wondering when my FEMA payment would come. I would be sitting there crying. I'm talking like I would just be sitting on the stair outside, just crying and crying and crying and crying and crying for hours, literally hours daily. I think about it, I want to cry again. Just think about, I used to sit there, and then it would be some person that would say, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'd be like, no, I'm crying again, just thinking of that. I shouldn't be crying again. I just felt that pain again. But I not think about that. Like, I was sitting there crying and crying and crying daily. I was. And then I realized how much of a waste of time that shit was. Because now I'm thinking about what the people were looking like. And you don't know, you don't know what the visuals that I have in my head. You don't know the visuals that I have. The visuals that I have in my head is so funny. Okay, so what I wanted to say is that that oh goodness, you don't know what it was. Look, let me tell you something. All that sitting there crying and shit. I'm thinking to myself, I'm literally sitting here like, my goodness, I was a damn fool for that dumb shit sitting there crying. I was so fucking silly. I just think about myself like that. Like, I was silly. That was a silly, silly, stupid thing to do. God damn, what the fuck was I doing that for? I think about it, I'm like, that shit wasn't even, what the fuck? That wasn't even nothing. I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, God damn. That shit wasn't nothing. Oh my gosh, what the hell did I do that for? Oh my goodness. That's why that's why I have to learn, that's why I have to learn. That's why I have to learn what. Don't be crying over nothing. It might hurt. Don't waste your motherfucking time with no goddamn tears. Cause it ain't gonna cause after it's over, you gonna sit there and laugh. You gonna sit there and laugh. Cause you gonna see the funniness of what you just went through. So yeah, I'm I'm not gonna sit here and cry. I do cry sometimes, but I make that shit quick. Okay, I ain't gonna be sitting there like I was during Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Wilma, sitting there crying for 5 hours per day. What the fuck? Ah. See, that's why I say growing older, you get wiser. I would never waste my motherfucking time like that ever again. I'm going through some hard times, but I am not going to sit here and cry for 5 hours per day. I won't do that. I will not. Because after it all settles, you'll be fine. And that's all it is to it. So, chin up. Chin up. No more crying. No more crying. Don't do that shit. I had to tell myself sometimes, do not cry. Do not cry. Although it was like, I got a few tears in the... But I come on now. That's what I tell myself. Come on now. We can't do that. We're not going to sit here and cry for 5 hours per day. We're not going to sit here and cry. We're not going to sit here and cry 2 hours per day. We're not going to sit here and cry at all. I won't do that for myself. Even though sometimes a tear might come out. Come on. Come on. You can't do that. Okay. I got to tell myself that. You ain't going to do that today. You ain't going to do that. Come on. You got to be strong, okay? No, all this sitting here crying, that ain't going to work. It ain't going to do nothing to help your situation at all. And after it's done, you're going to look at it and laugh. So just be strong. That's all you got to do. And keep positive. Don't do no more crying. I ain't gonna cry like no Hurricane Katrina or no Hurricane goddamn Wilma. That'll never happen again, because it was a waste of time. It really was. It was a fucking waste of time to sit there crying like that. I learned that, and I will never do that again under no circumstances. Not for me. Okay, so don't ever sit there and cry for 5 or 10 or 2 hours per day. It's not worth it. Okay, so anyway, guys. Live fiercely, love viciously, and remember, atheism is unstoppable.